Hi, people. It's yet another day that the Lord has made. And this day, in this episode, I'm going to discuss with you how I broke the news to my family that I have cancer. The first person whom I called was my husband. And since he was out of Nairobi, I called him and I told him, you know what? These results are not good. In fact, I spoke in Kiswahili and I told him, hizi results ni baya. And I think wherever he was, maybe he was shocked. I was not here see him, so I cannot tell what was going on in him. But in shock, he told me, what I will do is, let me come home and we will discuss this. So I'm feeling a bit strong. So I went home through town. When I reached town, I had the results with me. I scanned the results and sent to my sister who is out of the country. Those are the first two I told about this news. And so I was heading home. And when I reached home, there was nobody. Since my son is a university student, he was not at home. And my daughter by then was doing her KCSE. So I went home, tried to drink even some water. I was not able, I was not feeling like. And I waited for my husband to come. And now in the evening, he came. In fact, we didn't start with this story. He showered, take coffee, take tea, and then we sat down and I told him this is what the doctor said. These are the results. And the doctor said that on next week, now the following week, that we are supposed to go with you to see him so that he can brief us on the procedures of which now we'll follow up after this report. So he didn't look like he was shocked, or maybe he just became strong for me, maybe. But he said, it's okay. You are going to get well. In fact, he started encouraging me. You will be well. You will overcome this. Yet, at least, I had somebody else, there's this second person who gave me a lot of hope. And I felt accommodated. And I could always think positive that I will make it. Even if I go through this, I will make it. I had a lot of hope in me. So there is a daughter who was supposed to do KCSE that year. And we decided not to break the news to her because I found like I will be selfish. Why do I break the news to my child? And maybe this news will destroy the whole of her life if she will be shocked to an extent that she failed her exams. So we decided we are not going to break the news to her until she finished her exams. And that's how it was. But my son kept so much close to me, and he could do a lot of housework. Now he's the one who is cooking for mom. He's the one whom we are sending anywhere we want to send some help. And we continued with him really supporting me because he was always, fortunately when I became sick, the university closed for the long holiday. So he was available, he was there, and we continued with him. And he walked with me through this journey because the dad was working and he had to go to work. So my daughter finished her exams, and she did very well. In fact, now she's almost completing university. And when she came after exams, yes, I told her mom was unwell, but now she's okay. And we thank God. She asked me a number of questions, and I answered, and she said, hey, I thank God for you. And that's how my immediate family came to know the story. There is also my mother who was unwell. I also decided not to tell my mother that I'm sick. It was not easy because, again, I thought, if I tell my mother that now I have cancer and she also have her health issues, she's aged, then I will be killing her. So I kept her in darkness. I never visited home until I finished my treatment. And she could always call asking me, how are you? Kwa nini umepotea hivyo hata ukuji kutembea? And I could answer, I will come. It's just a matter of the job is too much, but I will still come. But at the same time, I broke the news to her when I finished treatment. And she was shocked. So I really don't know whether I saved her from the choke, because when I told her after treatment, yes, I thank God she could see me, I'm whole, but she was still in shock. How? How did you go through this without telling me? So that was my mother. And our brothers and sisters, I told them, especially those who are in Nairobi, they really supported me. They could visit me. And my family took it positively. But I personally had to be very strong for my family, because I had to encourage myself. I had to give hope and positivity to myself. I had a lot of energy, and I had to show them that I'm not saying die. So I became strong for them, and they had a lot of support for me. I was not neglected. I was shown a lot of cooperation, a lot of help, a lot of love. So that's how I managed to get out of it, even in the family setup. But what is the moral teaching of this? That when the patient is going through any kind of a challenge, any sickness, the family should be there for that person. If the family is not there for that person, if she is neglected, if she is unloved, if she is mishandled, that person, it's very easy to give up and die. And that's how I managed up to the point of the family level. And in my next episode, I will discuss with you how I started the treatment and how it will all carry me, and how much did it affect me from surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy. Those will be my next episode. And I will review by saying that a family that plays together, lives together, and accomplishes together.